30 seconds, I would tell them my assignment. I feel like my assignment is my mission, and that is to help others be the best they can be, reach their potential, to pour into them, because a lot of people are just giving out all the time. And so I make sure that I pour into people and help build them. And whatever the goal is, I want to build that individual, that city, that neighborhood, that community, so that they can be, the best that they can be. Yes, it has. Initially, I started at the university, just with my students. My students were international, and I started working with them to help them develop, write books, tell their story. And then it went community-based. It just kind of happened from people asking me to speak at different organizations and corporations. And so once I got there, it just took off. My goal is to help people overcome, especially in the area of mental health. And I had spoken internationally one time in Bali, and when I went back, there was a person that came and said, "You helped me so much." And you never know who you're talking to, and you never know who takes away anything. And it was 4 years later, and she showed me the wristband that I gave out when I was there. She said, "I look at it every day, and it's changed my life." So that was confirmation for me. It helps me realize that we're more connected, we're more alike than different, because wherever I go, mental illness is an issue. And a lot of the same problems that people struggle with is internationally and in the US. So it just kind of makes the world a smaller place. I talk about the masks that people wear. And when I talk about it, I'm usually talking about one mask. And so I was talking about it across different settings, and a lady said, "Oh, I got a closet full of masks." Because I got a mask for my husband, a mask for my children. I was like, I never thought about it that way. But, we do show up differently for different people in our families. But she just went on every place you could think. She had a mask. She had a mask for the grocery store. I was like, okay, yeah. The movement itself, I've been working in mental health for years, but it wasn't until COVID, when I was kind of sheltering in place and everybody else was, and God gave me this revelation about the mask. And one day I was sitting online, because we were teaching online, every day, meetings, videos, and people were coming on, and I was like, "Oh, I'm fine." Everybody was saying they were good. And then when I got off of the meeting, I thought to myself, I've just had 12 family members pass. I'm really not good. I'm masking myself. And so from that point, we started developing it, and we did a lot of work online during COVID. And so it grew from there. One thing I have to help people understand is I work with a lot of women in corporate America. And they have different titles. And people think because you have a title, you don't have any problems, you don't have any feelings, that everything in your life is just perfect. And so once I can help people understand that, you're just masking that. You're still dealing with it, even though people are dumping that stuff on you. How important it is for you to manage those emotions and not just bury them. And so that was something that has kind of just every setting I've gone in, people have been able to connect with that because that's just a reality of life. That award and all of the awards are really, really unexpected because when you're working and walking in your purpose, you really don't see what you're doing. You just do it because it's in your heart to do. And so when others recognize it, it's like, I really must be making a difference. I work in the field of mental health, social work. We don't get a lot of thanks because you're working with people at their lowest points, most vulnerable people, and they're just trying to get through. And so when people say, hey, I see what you're doing, it makes a difference. And it even makes you want to come up and do more, really. Actually, what I do as a university professor helps me balance it because I run a program in counseling administrators. And so for my teachers, for my faculty, for my staff, I have to have that leadership. And then my coursework is rooted in faith. And so it kind of all aligns naturally, but then I have the opportunity through different engagements to separate it and just do basic faith work, ministry or teaching or leadership. Absolutely. It depends on the situation and like my discernment, like we could be in a leadership situation, but I can be led to pray for that person in that moment. So they do switch out, take over one or the other. I could be working with a student, talking about maybe a crisis or maybe career development, and then the leadership component will come in. And then sometimes just woman to woman or person to person. Better or you feel better and you really don't, but you just go along with it and say, yeah, I do feel better. And so managing those emotions, actually looking at them, seeing what's causing them, dealing with them at that level, and learning some strategies and interventions are very, very important. We're never taught those strategies or interventions. We're just taught wipe your face, get up, whatever, brush yourself off, keep going. So that's something that's not taught in any culture, really, how to manage your emotions. So once you can do that, then you can really be elevated to the person that God created you to be. Well, that's easy because I've been a teenage girl. So I know some of the trials and the tribulations that they deal with. My licensing as a mental health professional is with children. So I know that from birth to about 18, I know that developmental age and everything. And then in the university, I've worked with those students for years, even traditional students, adult students, everyone. So I'm able to kind of tailor it to what's going on in their life, what's going on in the environment, any type of chaos or anything like that. Well, I hope they choose to work with me because they want somebody who's grounded in truth and maybe faith. And I have the experience across settings, probably 20, 30 years of experience. And I've been in corporate, I've been in mental health, I've been in university settings, so I could tailor whatever they needed in that situation. Well, one thing I remind people is mental health is something that folks have been dealing with for years. And so if I come in and do a 2-day workshop, I can just give you some basic skills and strategies, but they have to do the work. It's more to it. Depending on the situation, they may have a need for a therapist or someone like that. But I can uncover some things that maybe you've been masking, or maybe you don't understand that you've been masking, so that you are on your way to wellness.